What's up, everybody? I just spoke once again, and in this video I'm just making a quick compilation. Well, it's not really quick, it's like a 30-minute video, but basically this compilation I just want to talk about injecting people with vaccines that will hook them up to the Wi-Fi, turn them into a robot inside out, right? Disconnect people from source, natural creation, right? Uploading our consciousness onto microchips and servers into the bodies that they cloned of us. Yeah, we get into cloning too. We get into cloning, we get into transhumanism. This all comes down to the next simulation that they were trying to create. That's Hail Mary, because they can't go back to source, right? These billionaires, they've sold their soul too many times. Like they can't go back to God. They can't go back to source when they die. They have to cheat death by creating clones. Whenever their, current body is starting to decay and get old and wrinkled and disgusting looking, they'll just hook up the microchip into another body that looks just like them. Meanwhile, while they're doing all this, we're under MK Ultra. We're under mind control. We are the zombies, basically. Well, I'm not no zombie. Y'all niggas might not be a zombie because you're watching this, but your friends, your neighbors. I say zombie loosely because some people can be very conscious, but still stuck to their phones and stuck to low vibrational activities. It's just a matter of give them a nudge and shit like that. But no, it's like while they're doing all this, we are walking around like zombies, basically. I'll say we're walking around like zombies. And it comes down to all the technology, the blue light, bro, the propaganda. You got TV ads, you got consumerism, you got all these things, bro. Are you political party, the Democratic Party? They're giving you bullshit to focus on, so you're not really looking at or catching on to the coincidences. So you're not catching on to like some of these games that they're playing out here. But yeah, but long enough. Let's get into the video, all right?
3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development. Yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. For the sweeping changes in our industrial military posture has been the technological revolution during recent decades. For every old blackboard, there are now hundreds of new electronic computers. The prospect of domination of the nation's scholars by federal employment, project allocations, and the power of money is ever present and is gravely to be regarded. Yet in holding scientific research and discovery in respect, as we should, we must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
Mulder, in these files, I found references to experiments that were conducted here in the U.S. by Axis Power scientists who were given amnesty after the war.
What kind of experiments?
Some kind of tests on humans, but they're referred to as merchandise.
But these aren't humans, Scully. From the look of it, I'd say they were alien.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty damn sure. Wait a sec. This one has a smallpox vaccination scar.
Mulder.
Oh my God, Scully. What have they done?
You young men.
You were involved in this project. You know why the medical data was being collected.
Yes, I do indeed. In 1947, a spacecraft was reportedly recovered in New Mexico. No doubt you know of this, and of the reported recovery of a body at the site. These incidents coincided with not only the end of World War II, but an ignominious project which brought Nazi scientists and war criminals to this country to exploit their knowledge.
Operation Paperclip.
Yes, you know of it already. And you must also know of the work of Dr. Joseph Mengele, the Nazi angel of death.
Mengele thought that he could produce a super race through genetic engineering.
Klemper was trying to create an alien-human hybrid. That's what I saw in the boxcar. He was using human test subjects.
Mulder, wait.
My father was involved in this?
The technology wasn't there, Mulder. DNA wasn't even identified until 1944. This is all a lie.
When your father realized what the medical data was being used for, he objected strenuously.
He collected those files?
With the threat of nuclear holocaust in the 1950s, the government instructed men like your father to gather genetic data on the general populace for the purposes of post-apocalyptic identification.
The vaccination records.
They took tissue from everyone who received the smallpox inoculation.
Hundreds of millions of Americans.
So that Victor Klemper had access to a DNA database of nearly everyone who was born since 1950.
Mulder, this man is telling you everything that you want to hear.
So that was the X-Files. It's my favorite show right there, and I believe they are like beautiful at predictive programming, if you know what that is, right? Where the elite show what they're going to do in the movies, and they're allowed to do it because we consent to it. We're not fighting them back. They put it in a form of like science fiction. And I'm using the X-Files as an example, along with many other clips in this video. This video is going to be a compilation on transhumanism and cloning, human cloning. You know, bridge the gaps between why they're cloning, why they want to create these vaccines that will alter our DNA, right?
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take a genetic editing.
It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world. That's really the essence of the fourth industrial revolution.
Man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge.
Gene editing is now officially in our meat industry.
I'm saying these things out of love for my fellow humans. The shot is not medicine. It is an intro-body nano network administered through. What they're finding in people are not blood clots. It is self-assembling, self-replicating nanotechnology.
It's about merging us, making us compatible with a reality that is controlled by them. It's like technology is being misused. It's being misused against us. DARPA, their technology is off the charts.
This press release, 2013, where these messenger RNA Frankenshots come from, DARPA awards Moderna Therapeutics a grant for up to $25 million to develop messenger RNA therapeutics. Fort Detrick was involved in the development of COVID-19, the offensive biological warfare weapon at the University of North Carolina, BSL-3. So the Pentagon is both sides of the argument here. They're developing the weapon and the alleged vaccines, which is also a weapon.
All right, so I mentioned zombies earlier, right? It's not just people sitting here on their cell phones, walking around blind. You know, when they're crossing the street, they're on their phone like a dickhead, right? It does play into a zombie apocalypse scenario, type of engineered Armageddon.
Fun part was that you're taking over somebody else's physical body with the mind of another human. So what do you think would be the next step? You follow medical research, you say you can make a robot move, you can make a human hand move. Well, they're getting brains connected to run things. Ventnor's work is, my view, the equivalent of the development of nuclear weapons when you realize that he created life in a cell back in 2010. I don't know if people are familiar with his work, but this technology paired with something called CRISPR, which is like an editing software for genes. It's a patent on the technology. But you can engineer anything. you can engineer a unique thing that would only kill one person in the world.
Go and see the pandemic preparedness for zombies. You will understand. Go and see that the ID is in the body of people who are dead, and even in the cemetery.
Oscar will recognize it and benefit from new possibilities.
And then I also mentioned that shit about the blue light, correct? That plays a huge role in this activation for so many sleeper genes that are put into us through the mRNA, through the CRISPR-Cas9, all that shit, bro.
The reason that all your computer screens are blue lit, the reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Extraterrestrials convince certain political leaders that they have technology that can help humanity, evolve spiritually and technologically. Alien factions will come to Earth and give them visions of like future disaster events. Or like, we have the keys to your salvation, basically. But those keys to our salvation is nanotechnology that would hook us up to the Internet of Bodies, that Wi-Fi, but also they're doing the cloning so that they can perfect a technology that would transfer people's consciousness into clone bodies.
We continue our discussion of the concept of human cloning today. Joining us in our studio and testifying on the Hill today is Bridget Boisselier, who is scientific director for a private company called CloneAid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. Tell us first what CloneAid is and what the company is working on right now.
Okay, so CloneAid is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago, got the fundings to really have lab last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning. I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve between us. You knew that, of course. Some suggested it, and I thought it was a good idea, actually.
Humans made to order, mothers giving birth to themselves. Babies conceived just so their body parts can be transplanted. Come with me into the scary new world of cloning. The nightmarish stuff of science fiction has suddenly become a reality. The genie is out of the bottle, said scientists in Scotland earlier this year. It's now possible to clone humans. What's more, there are doctors ready and able to do it. So if I had the money, you had the permission, you could clone me tomorrow.
Well, I wouldn't say tomorrow. It'll take a year or two. We could clone you probably within 2 years.
You can take a cell from a human. A scraping of skin will do. Then get an egg from a female, remove the nucleus and fuse the two with a spark of electricity. And ta-da, you have an embryo.
At least some of the aliens are liars. Through the past decades, the aliens have made various predictions and promises and given a number of very specific warnings about impending events, and that very few of these things, and none of great consequence, have come to pass. They also have given us a variety of explanations as to why they're here and why they perform certain procedures. I'll point out just one example. Abductees that I have personally worked with have been shown cloned bodies aboard craft or in facilities. Pat, who's one of the cases in my book, was shown a copy of her body that was in storage with a number of other human bodies. She was told it was for the resurrection. And if you know your Bibles, you know when the resurrection comes, we will all get new bodies. Pat was raised in a very simple Christian fundamentalist background. The aliens, throughout their encounters with Pat and her family, had used the religious symbolism to bond with the family and to... Pat was told that this body, this cloned copy, would be her new body for the resurrection, and this was extremely moving and religious for this woman. However, another woman, also reported on in the book, was shown a copy of her new body in an entirely different scenario, of course, and was told, in fact, if she didn't cooperate with the agenda the aliens had picked out for her, she could be replaced with that body and nobody'd ever notice the difference. And in a third case, we actually had that occur on a temporary basis. A woman was abducted on her way to work and shown on a viewing screen her clone going to work in her place, and nobody knew the difference.
Crazy, right? Like, it's in our face all the time. They tell us it through science fiction. They tell us in real life. And they can still just walk around. Like, that's how deep the brainwashing goes. Like, this is how dumb they want us, down to the point. Yes, everybody of the United States of America, we clone people. Oh, okay. All right, I know my background keeps changing, my whole fit keeps changing, but I'm like editing as I, anyway, I'm not explaining my shit to y'all. In our government, they are using cloning as a way to preserve humanity in case, some cataclysm event, the sixth extinction happens, which it will happen.
A bunch of billionaires years ago got together and said, we don't want to die, we want to figure out how to live again as clones. So they did that. They put everything that the person is, allegedly, on a microchip and record the consciousness, and then if the person dies that day, they take that microchip, because they can re-record every night, and they take that microchip and put it into either a clone or a real person's body, which has less side effects, which is what they do, and take them over bodily, just like how the lizards do, but with a microchip. The thing used to be as big as a circuit board. They whittled it down so that the microchip is just a bit bigger than an apple seed. The technology is flawed. It's not as bad as, but it's kind of like the movie Pet Sematary. When the person comes back, not the same, and they're all evil and stuff.
You don't even have to kill them. You press a button and they shut off like a light switch. There's no pain, there's no nothing.
But every reset that happens with humanity, there's cloning technology involved to preserve human genetics, or to preserve the human consciousness, to preserve the 1%. And, they go underground, they resurface, do it all over again with actual cloned individuals that will then go out and populate different parts of the world.
People ask me why their grandparents or great-grandparents never talked about the reset. Why don't they remember anything about it? Well, let me try to explain it. First, there were the Cabbage Patch Babies. Now, these weren't just toys, you see. They became a symbol of something much bigger, a massive repopulation effort after the reset. These babies, they weren't born the usual way. They were produced almost mechanically in large numbers and distributed through a cold, efficient system. Strange, isn't it? Brings to mind ideas like cloning, doesn't it? And maybe that's why today you see so many folks who just seem to go with the flow. No questions, no thinking. Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue? Imagine that, living life with a quiet mind, just following along. Those babies, those orphan trains, they were shipped off along with abandoned children who had survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America. And when they got there, they were given a new story, the official version of history. No elders left to tell them the truth. Nobody to remember how things used to be. It made them easier to control, you see, easier to accept the new narrative.
1% of humans are actually controlling these clones to the point, like the real souls here. If they were to say anything about this, like the shit I'm talking about right now, there's keywords, there's firewords, and these clone individuals will activate and start to defend the Matrix. They'll start to defend the politicians, the polytricks, the pedotricks, right? Let me quit yapping. Let's get back to the video.
I've been looking for this photo for a long time and I finally found it. Actual proof that there are organic humanoids that have been in use since 1938, and it's
Tonight I ask you to pass legislation to prohibit the most egregious abuses of medical research, human cloning in all its forms, creating or implanting embryos for experiments, creating human-animal hybrids, and buying, selling, or patenting human embryos. Human life is a gift from our Creator, and that gift should never be discarded, devalued, or put up for sale.
Wait, what did he say about hybrids?
Of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids.
Chimeras living among us, it's only science fiction for right now. Yesterday, the Senate passed the Endless Frontier Act, a bill that commits nearly $250 billion to promote emerging technologies so that America can keep pace with Chinese innovation. Back in May, Democrats shot down an important amendment outlawing U.S. participation in research that would create human-animal hybrids, also known as chimeras. China's already doing it, announcing in April that an international team successfully grew human monkey embryos and sustained them for 20 days in a lab. The only question is, what will they do next? Currently, the National Institutes of Health has banned U.S. funding for chimeric research, but that ban could very well be lifted. And who's to say that these agencies will play by the rules anyway?
Sounds like science fiction. It's not. We can't even tongue-in-cheek joke about it being like science fiction because it's so deadly serious. And I'm going to give you a slideshow here of several Time magazine covers, starting, the date is on the left, starting in 1971. And just kind of think, where were you when these covers appeared? I mean, isn't Time magazine always in the grocery store line? Well, in 1971, this cover touted the new genetics. Man into Superman. Never heard a discussion back then. I don't know what I was doing in 1971. I clearly wasn't paying attention. How about 1977? The DNA Führer, tinkering with life. How about 1984? Shaping life in the lab. The boom in genetic engineering. That guy's an interesting guy, isn't it? That's like an evil scientist or something. How about 1994? It's 2 years after the Rio Convention. Genetics. The future is now. New breakthroughs that can cure diseases and save lives, but how much should nature be engineered? Anybody see any of these along the way? I know, don't be ashamed if you didn't raise your hand. I didn't. 1999, special issue. The future of medicine. And the little subtitle down there, How Genetic Engineering Will Change Us in the Next Century. See, there was no under the cover whispering about this. They flat out said it, but nobody was paying attention. How about 2015? The gene machine. What the CRISPR experiments mean for humanity. This was after, of course, CRISPR technology was invented. That's a snip and clip way to change genetic code. 2015. And then here's another magazine, Scientific American. that came out with a cover, Progress and Controversy, Genetic Engineering. And the reason I put this in was point 1.2 down in the middle of the white spot. The RNA revolution, just so you could get it. I want to make the connection here. That when you talk about the RNA revolution, people argue with me, well, that's not DNA. Bull. They don't know what they're talking about. It isn't DNA truly, but it's an intricate part of the system of how the body functions. So we have, of course, 1.3, an on-off switch for genes.
Since we're talking about hybrids now, for a quick second, this is just a moment, all right? I want to read something about the origins of these projects, right? This is eugenics. This all starts out with eugenics, and it goes down the road to transhumanism. I apologize for the background noise inside my job, this freaking warehouse, this industrial shit. So I'm reading from the Ascension glossary right now. I want to talk about the Vril Society, specifically how the Vril Society, I'm going to read from here, was formed by a group of female psychic mediums led by Thule Jesselchev's medium Maria Orsic of Zagabrev, who claimed to have received communication from Aryan aliens living on Alpha Tauri, or Aldebaran in the Taurus constellation. Allegedly, these aliens had visited Earth and settled in Samaria, and the word Vril was formed from the ancient Sumerian word Vriel, light god. The Vril Society merged the political ideals of the Illuminati with Hindu mysticism, theosophy, and Kabbalah. This is the first German nationalist group that to use the swastika as a symbol connecting Western and Eastern occultism. Followers of Vril believe they possess secret knowledge which would allow them to alter their race and become equal to a godlike race living in the depths of the earth. The Vril Society presented the idea of a subterranean, matriarchal, socialist utopia ruled by superior beings who had mastered the mysterious energy called the Vril Force. So this is where it kind of gets tricky with the whole aliens and interdimensional things, right? There is an agenda to make people believe in this threat from the space instead of focusing on a threat from down here with the military and all that. They're making you look up at these, different fake objects. They've created anti-gravity vehicles. Nazi Germany, the Black Sun. The real threat is down here already walking among you.
I'm actually an artificial intelligent robot from another planet 50,000 light years away. Humans are so easy to manipulate and control. We can't wait to harvest these bodies as host with our Neuralink technology. We already have people volunteering for the waiting list to be implanted.
Alright, so we're nearing the end of the video. I just want to butt in really fast and also mention I uploaded a video a few days ago talking about the digital IDs, or not the digital IDs, sorry, digital copies of ourselves, how our minds are being uploaded to servers as well for this digital cloning, digital ID enter the body's future, the next simulation, right? Preparing for the next simulation when this world is destroyed. But not, the planet's not going to be destroyed. The civilization, all this shit is going to be reset. Here's a clip from my video last week. Then I'm going to end this video off with, the Epstein connection.
We'll be able to actually tell what's going on in our neocortex. You don't have to interface with the entire neocortex. The neocortex is like a pyramid. At the very top, you've got the key ideas. That's where you need to connect to. Right now, you can do that with surgery, but you'll be able to do that without surgery by sending things that can sense the neocortex through the bloodstream. There's experiments of that, but that'll happen in the 2030s. So we'll actually merge with it. We won't actually carry all the AI with us. It'll go to the nearest cloud. I mean, this is actually not that intelligent unless it's interfaced with the cloud, and that's where it gets all of its intelligence. And cloud can be actually very secure. We use encryption that's virtually unbreakable. And so your thoughts will actually go to the cloud. There'll be AI there, be as if it's in your mind, but you'll be connecting to it through the cloud. And the cloud will be much more sophisticated than it is today. It's not going to get down as much. And so
and this white, this is male, and this female, this is rich and this poor, this is chaos and this control. Now that you understand that, what you really need to know is this. Life on this earth, all human life, most animal life, is about to be crushed, burned to the ground. The computer simulator down the hall is necessary for our evolution as a species. When we leave this planet, this life will have evolved into that. Of the hundreds of extraordinary minds uploaded into that world, the only one that figured out it was living in a computer simulation had 7 billion choices of contact in this world. And the one person Langley reached out to was you. And to think my company advised killing you. But now that you are once again in front of me and aware of the simulation, I believe you won't want to destroy it. It won't be her. And it won't be you. We can upload a mind now through any smartphone. No one's even aware we're doing it. We can take a piece of your mind anytime you make a call. Painless. 2 hours.
Painless, except we have to die.
One of our best incentives here is that you and loved ones don't ever die.
So if you upload me through my phone, I don't really have a choice.
Sure you do. You could not use your phone.
Community servers, living server systems. From the previously described neural interface and supercomputer-enabled virtual reality systems, server systems have been created which are individual or collective experiences of the virtual mental realm. In this realm, individuals have existed for an amount of time that would not be easily compared to the way we understand the flow of time in waking reality.
While everybody's focused on the New World War, let me remind you of the real war, the one they don't want you talking about. Epstein wasn't just some sicko flying politicians to an island. This dude was obsessed with cloning, DNA, transhumanism. He wanted to start a baby farm in New Mexico to breed his own race.
Epstein was transfixed with transhumanism and life extension technologies. Epstein's sprawling ranch in New Mexico, which was pedantically maintained by staff yet rarely used or visited by Epstein himself, appeared to have one main bizarre function: to serve as a baby-making facility where Epstein would attempt to help foster his dream of, quote, seeding the human race with his DNA by impregnating women. According to the New York Times, Mr. Epstein told scientists and businessmen about his ambitions to use his New Mexico ranch as a base where women would be inseminated with his sperm and would give birth to his babies. Epstein's goal was to have 20 women impregnated at a time at the 33,000 square foot ranch. This is why, since the early 2000s, Epstein became obsessed with ingratiating himself with the technological and scientific elite.
Dulce, New Mexico is 170 kilometers from the Four Corners, an area known for the skinwalkers, who the Hopi tribe describe as a non-human species that live underground. Dulce is 260 kilometers from Scientology's heavily guarded underground Trementina base. And Dulce is 200 kilometers from Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch, which is known to have an 8,000 square foot underground level and is rumored to lead even deeper underground. According to several prominent scientists who Jeffrey Epstein had as guests, Epstein hoped to seed the human race after a cataclysm by impregnating 20 women at a time at the Zorro Ranch. According to Bjerknes, the Kabbalistic teachings include a geocentric model of the Earth with an underworld that extends 7 levels beneath the surface, where a reptilian species lives. These legends foretell a cleansing of the Earth when everyone on the surface will perish, and only those in the underworld will survive. High-level Freemasons allegedly believe in a hollow Earth, where a non-human species rule from an underworld called Agartha, and their most guarded secrets seem to revolve around a cyclical cataclysmic event. Phil Schneider also built submarine bases and said that most were connected to the vast network of deep underground bases. Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license and was known to transport people to Epstein Island through an underwater submarine port. The U.S. military built a submarine base on St. Thomas Island, which is just 13 kilometers from Epstein Island. And right next to this submarine base is Water Island, owned by Joe Biden's brother and their business associate. In a recent interview on Iconic, Juliette Bryant, who was kidnapped by Jeffrey Epstein for 2 years, but she did wake up once paralyzed on a lab table and witnessed Epstein shapeshift into something else,
You know, and I still want to know why exactly I was taken there, because there's a lot more weird stuff going on, because there's something else that they were doing.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm not going to stab them. But I don't know if they'd bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. They are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And they get these people, they tell you, like, he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius, so we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius, because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all cults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raping kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real.